Hello, everyone. This is Jeff and Torie. We are here to review Megalo Box Episode 7.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen it yet, go ahead and watch it. We're just going to be discussing the whole thing and giving you our quick impressions.
So spoiler alert.
So, this is basically a setup episode. We got introduced to the next boxer that Joe's going to be fighting. His name is Shirato Mikio, I think is what it is.
Yeah.
But his whole thing, he's got two things going for him. He's got this special gear, which is like has like artificial intelligence in it, so it can like read your opponent's blocks, which to me is cheap. And that's kind of like one of the things about the sport that I guess it's clear now that basically if you like 100% clear now, and I guess it should have been clear before, but like without a doubt, if you have like legit gear, then you just have a clear advantage over your opponent. Although I guess Joe is sort of like the antithesis to that because he's still able to beat people with really good gear.
Well, I think it's just that the gear can make you less lazy on your punches or your technique because, I mean, if your AI can read your opponent's moves and do everything for you.
You mean it makes you more lazy?
Yeah, more lazy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so basically it's an advantage to the person wearing it, but it doesn't mean that they're necessarily better in regards to the sport of boxing.
But what if it can automatically block your opponent's punches, like Mikio?
Well, I guess the way that the artificial intelligence is explained to us is that it reads their like moves or something. So basically, you just gotta know that and trick the system.
Oh, you should be a Megalo Boxer then.
Yeah, I'm an expert. I'm like Sachio with my tech moves.
Well, I mean, also Yuuri, the big bad guy that eventually Joe's gonna fight. His gear is like, they say that his gear is basically just a part of his body now, which basically just means he's like a superhuman. So I don't know. This is, I guess this is kind of maybe like a David versus Goliath-ish story. Maybe it's an analog to like, the moral of the story is, don't be a machine, be a human being.
Oh, that's pretty good. It rhymed a little bit.
Don't be a machine, be a human being. Yeah, okay, I guess that works. Okay, so yeah, he's got this special AI, but the other thing about him is he is the brother of the girl Shirato, who is the president of the Shirato Corporation. They're the ones that own the Megalonia matches, so I guess they're the ones that well, no, are they the ones setting up the matches too? Like every single match up to Megalonia?
No, they're just setting up the matches that that guy was doing. The Shirato, the brother, because he's part of that company, kind of.
Oh, okay.
But they're also the ones picking the people for Megalonia.
Yeah, okay. So yeah, there's some drama going on, some sibling rivalry. There's a quick backstory that they go into about how I guess the sister manipulated their grandfather into inheriting the company when it should have gone to him, and now he's a Megalo Boxer. And I guess his new plan is to rise to the top and then defeat the sisters, like defeat Yuuri basically, and then I guess that'll prove that he's the bestest, and then somehow that gets his company back.
Yeah,
I don't know. Did I miss anything? Is that his plan? Did he even say he had a plan?
I think it's more or less that I don't know. I mean, of course, he wants to beat his sister's like slave dog, as he calls him, but I think it's more or less that when they set up Megalonia, his sister didn't want him to be in the matches at all. Like
yeah, so that's the other side of the story. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he basically she made him fight people that she thought he was going to lose against, and she was planning for him to fight Joe. So basically, Joe in the beginning we see Shirato fighting like the number 4 fighter. He beats him, and in the ring he calls out Gearless Joe, and it turns out that was a sister's plan all along, was have them fight each other, but I guess he beat her to it, and in doing so kind of foiled her plan, which we'll talk about later on. Anyways, yeah, I don't know. What do you think of this storyline so far?
I think it gives some good background to the people who are running this Megalonia. It's pretty good. I think it's better than just boxing and boxing and boxing. I like to get a little bit of backstory and character development.
Yeah, so we're in episode 7 now, though. So the thing is, we're more than halfway through the show. I believe this is a 13-episode anime. So it's 7 episodes, and like we're still getting new characters. So I don't know. I guess it's a symptom of the length of the show. They kind of went with the route of let's get a few main characters and then introduce enemies as they go along and build up to the big bad guy, versus let's get a core group of characters and just follow their story through the whole thing. But they're different. They're just different approaches. I prefer the former, or I prefer just like a small group of characters and focusing on them throughout the whole thing. But this one's so far I'm enjoying myself with the watch. It's pretty easy. It's pretty easy to watch.
That's not bad.
The other thing is, in the beginning of the show, the beginning of the episode, Gearless Joe is now super famous and stuff, and people are graffitiing him on the walls, getting tattoos of him and stuff like that. Which it's like, okay, so he's won quite a bit of matches, but he hasn't like actually like won the championship. Would you to get a tattoo like of someone if they didn't actually make it all the way to the top? Like, because he's won like 5 or 6 fights now.
So I think more or less, I think the area that we were looking at with all the tattoos and the graffiti on the walls and newspaper is probably his hometown. So they probably have like pride a little bit for the person that lives in their area.
But he has a fake ID. How do they know where he lives?
I mean, a fake ID could have an address on it. Fake address. It's kind of like I can compare it to the Golden Knights right now in Vegas. Even though they just started and they're rising to the top, people are showing a lot of pride. I bet you there's a lot of people who have Golden Knight tattoos already.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how widely advertised these are. It's just Megalonia, like football in this area. Everyone's watching.
It seems to be like the only pastime. Or like...
No, the people are like
there's dog
betting.
racing.
Yeah.
So, well, okay, outside of dog racing and Megalo Box. So, like, it's interesting. This world is interesting in that it's like, it seems rich and very like involved and deep, but really it's not. It's just aesthetically it's an interesting world, but even then after a while it kind of gets boring with all the grays and the sort of industrial look, which I mean, that's the feel they're going for. But in the beginning I thought, wow, this is such a great sense of place, because this is there's a lot of detail into the world, but we don't actually get to see the world that much. Again, it's a short anime, so they can't really dive into it, but I don't know. I'm just kind of realizing that like it's kind of shallow in terms of world building, I guess, which,
yeah. I mean, I just think it's the nature of the anime, like you said. They can't really go far into it, and I mean, there might be more to the world, we just don't see it.
Yeah. I mean, so far we only see like the major players. Well, the major player. See, again, it's like the only big organization is the Shiroto Corporation, and it's like the only big pastime they have is Megalo Box, and it seems like this whole world is just focused on this one thing, which maybe it is. Maybe it's like the only escape from their suffering, because overall the place is kind of bleak.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they like to capitalize on the differences between the poor and the rich a lot. I think that's why there's a lot of grays. And
do they?
I think so.
Who's the rich person?
Haven't you ever seen the color schemes? Like the difference between like the woman Shiratoa and like Yuuri and all these rich people and their houses and stuff. It's so bright and white and colorful.
I guess we did see Yuri's house, yeah.
And compared to the streets are all green, like grimy and grays.
Yeah, Yuuri lives out in like the countryside or something like that. Mm-hmm. Anyway, so the rest of the episode is basically the team's coming together. Gearless Joe was injured from the fight. He was supposed to rest, but he ended up putting in some training thanks to the little kid Sachio, and I think for the first time in the series they actually feel like a real team, like working together and like just getting better overall. And as soon as that stuff started happening, I was like, something bad's gonna happen, right?
Yeah.
Because it was maybe not obvious, but like I guess if you've seen enough shows, you kind of get the suspicion that when things are going really well, something's gonna go bad.
Yeah, and they actually said a phrase in the beginning, and I'll talk about it later when we get to this section. But once they said that phrase, I was like, oh, that's gonna be the key to the next thing. Foreshadow.
So so all these good things are happening. It looks like Joe is his punches are stronger. He's faster.
He's learning new techniques.
Yeah, they're making money by selling soup.
Are they making money or just the kids?
I guess just the kids. Yeah, the kids are hustling. They're letting people view them in return for buying their soup.
Which is kind of stupid. If anything, they could just sell tickets to watch Gearless Joe. Why do they have to make soup and then
Oh yeah,
sell it?
You're right. That's so dumb. That's a good point. They don't even have to make the soup. It's just a waste of soup.
It is. Just people buying soup that they don't want to eat.
Mm-hmm. It's funny because they say it's free to watch him, but you have to buy soup. It's like, what are you hustling, kid? Anyway, so things are going really well. And then at the very end of the episode, Shirato is waiting for Gearless Joe as he arrives on the stage, and he's like, I know your secret. You're a fake guy, and you used to work in underground fights and stuff. And
you have a fraudulent ID.
And he threatens to expose him, and Gearless Joe's like, why, you little? And he goes to punch him, and then Nanbu comes out of nowhere, like Super Saiyan speed, jumps in front of him, like gut punches him.
Yeah.
And basically just outs him.
Dang.
I mean, I guess it's, basically just to stop him. I think, maybe just like holding him back would have worked too, but I don't know if he had to gut punch him.
I think so, because Gearless Joe looks hella strong compared to Nanbu. So Nanbu just did a move, like a karate chop move that would put him out.
I guess so. Well, anyway, so yeah, that's where the episode ends. It's like Shirato at the end looks over to his sister and he's like, I'm going to take everything away, take everything back. So this was his plan all along. He was going to call out Gearless Joe on his own and then basically threaten to out him. And it turns out that Gearless Joe, I guess, is disqualified because they had like a timer. Yeah,
and at the very end, they show the timer running out.
Yeah, so the timer's going to run out. He's not on stage. The door closes on them. And what's going to happen next? It's a real cliffhanger there.
And I think it's a good cliffhanger because I'm not exactly sure what's going to happen. Like,
yeah, I have no clue.
Yeah, how can he get around this? He couldn't get around in the first place. That's why they had to make a fraudulent ID.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, it'll definitely be interesting to see where the show goes. I guess my theory is like maybe they get a real ID.
They find it in the dirt.
Yeah, or maybe I don't know because they never really explain like what was the process of getting an actual ID. Like maybe it's like a matter of where you're born or something. I don't know. What do you think?
I think that Gearless Joe is gonna meet Shirato dude again, and then slice off his tongue so he can't talk.
Whoa!
And then they're gonna fight.
Yo,
and
Jesus.
then he can't out him unless he writes it like big enough, advertises it to the world.
Well, he's gonna cut off his hands too.
Oh yeah.
And then he can't fight anymore. Oh, there we go.
Perfect.
And he's like, oh, well, we can't fight him. I guess I get out to the Megalonia.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, how does he know that he got a fraudulent ID?
Well, I mean, he's...
Did his dealer just do a bad job at keeping record?
Well, so he's Shirato's brother. So Shirato, the sister, is an owner of this giant corporation. So I assume that they're both wealthy and they both have resources. So he probably just dug up some dirt on the Gearless Joe guy and was able to find out that he was a fake.
I don't know. And even if he gets around that, I don't know how he's going to... Like, if officially he's disqualified and everyone's going to see him as being disqualified. So he's just going to be like, oh, never mind, everybody.
You know what would have solved all this is if Joe actually typed in a real fucking name. Because in the beginning, they're like, oh, I guess you get to choose your name. And he's just like, oh, I got it. Joe. And he literally just types out Joe. And I'm like, is that it? That's his name now? Does he not know that, you usually need a first and last name? So basically the guy was looking through the record. He's like, what's this guy's name? Wait, Joe? Literally, that's his name, Joe? And then...
Nah, we gotta look that up more.
Yeah, and then that's how he found out.
Well, you don't think that they put on his ID there's like a fake random last name? Do you think they just kept it as Joe?
I think it'd be so funny if they did.
I'm sure they did because like on the screen.
Well, you saw other last names on there, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, I think he just put Joe, and that's what fucked him up. And nobody was like, oh, yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, like, oh, Joe, what a lovely name.
Yeah, anything else you want to talk about for this episode?
No, I'm just gotta wait till next week to figure out what happens.
Yeah, I'm intrigued to see what happens next.
And you know what? I will say that I really appreciate them doing this cliffhanger because I was really tired of each episode being Joe meets a new rival, Joe beats a new rival, and so on and so forth and so on and so forth. I was like, really? Is he ever gonna lose, or is he ever gonna have any conflict? Is he just that great?
Yeah, it really breaks up the monotony of the show, and I agree. If they kept on doing that over and over again, it probably would have gone repetitive. So yeah, they shook things up a bit, gave him a conflict other than a fight. So it should be.
And it was the ID, and they mentioned that earlier in the movie.
Yeah, in the episode. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, they like totally the Chekhov's gunned it. Okay, so yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed that discussion. Let us know what you thought of the episode down in the comment section below.
Yeah.
And if you like other sports animes, we have a sports anime podcast called Anime Ricochet. We're gonna be doing one for this show. But right now we're just doing week by week reviews. So
yeah,
go check out the other episodes if you're interested in stuff like this. So yeah, thanks for watching.
Yeah, like and subscribe.
Bye.
Bye.